Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakol Kodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who thou also David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Asherallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians, who before losing their true heritage were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about a service which is about to be pushed out called Amazon Sidewalk. Okay, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and read this. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So there's a service that Amazon provides or will provide, which is going to go into effect on June 8th, right? Within about, 7 more days? Well, you're going to have to, if you have an Amazon device like an Alexa or a Ring device, right? You need to basically opt out of this, right? What this is going to do is it's going to connect your devices automatically with all other Alexa devices and basically put your devices into a mesh system, hence connecting you to the Internet of Things. Now, if you are in this truth, you understand that we are quickly moving to a connected future, okay? And that connected future is ultimately, it's a web which is ultimately trying to entangle you, okay? You have to be somewhat circumspect when it comes to dealing with today's technology, because there's a movie about Eric Snowden, the recent whistleblower that came out and basically told the world that how the NSA and the US government are spying 24/7 on everything you do, from your computers, your phones, and whatnot.
It was a welcome change when they put me on terrorism watch duty. Every day I'd go in and I'd get starting points for SIGINT, which is Signals Intelligence. A lot of them were American, which felt strange, but you just keep reminding yourself, I could stop a dirty bomb attack and save thousands of lives. Thing is, you're not just following your bad guy targets, you're also following their metadata, which is basically all the phone numbers that they're in touch with. Let's say your target is a shady Iranian banker operating out of Beirut. Okay, so you're watching his stuff, but you're also watching all the people that he talks to, including, his cousin who's just some dentist living in Buffalo. And then you have to watch all of that guy's contacts. And by the time you go a third hop out from the original target, you're watching this bartender chat with her mother about Botox. Because 3 hops from anyone with, say, 40 contacts, you're looking at a list of 2.5 million people. And there's that moment when you're sitting there and the scale of it hits you. The NSA is really tracking every cell phone in the world. No matter who you are, every day of your life, you're sitting in a database, just ready to be looked at. Not just terrorists or countries or corporations, but you.
Right? It's even been ruled by the international law courts that the spying that the NSA does is illegal, right? And it's too evasive. But this is just the kingdom of wickedness that we live in today under the Edomites, right? The so-called Caucasian race. That being said, ultimately, what we tell, what brothers say and what we tell people, ultimately, if Esau wants to get you, he's going to find you. And the thing is he already knows who we are. But the thing is you don't have to make yourself, a willing target. That being said, let's go and read this article from Zero Hedge, and let's just find out a little bit about what this Amazon Sidewalk is. right? It says Amazon Sidewalk, or it says here, it says now is your last chance to opt out of Amazon Sidewalk. Amazon Sidewalk, the company's new shared mesh network that helps devices like Amazon Echo devices, Ring security cams, outdoor lights, motion sensors, and tile trackers work better around the house and beyond, will be switched on next week. Tens of millions of Americans own Amazon devices, and the experimental network will turn users into guinea pigs next week, according to Ars Technica. On June 8th, users who don't opt out will be automatically enrolled in Sidewalk, the mesh network created by Echoes, cameras, and other smart devices under the Amazon brand. Will use a small amount of bandwidth and broadcast to nearby neighbors and other city streets. See that? Amazon Sidewalk creates a low bandwidth network with the help of Sidewalk bridge devices, including select Echo and Ring devices. These bridge devices share a small portion of your internet bandwidth, which is pooled together to provide these services to you and your neighbors. And then when more neighbors participate, the network becomes even stronger. Amazon's website says, while Amazon does provide a white paper detailing the technical foundations of the shared mesh network, it's likely many users won't be too excited. Some might find it helpful, as others don't want their network exposed to possible security flaws. Ars Technica wrote a cautionary note. Now listen up, Akim. There are enough theoretical risks to give users pause. Wireless technologies like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth have a history of being insecure. Remember WEP, which is Web-Enabled Protection? The encryption scheme that protected Wi-Fi traffic from being monitored by nearby parties? It was widely used for 4 years before researchers exposed flaws that made decrypting data relatively easy for attackers. WPA, the technology that replaced WEP, is much more robust, but is also has a checkered history. Considering the wealth of intimate details Amazon devices are privy to, they see who knocks on our doors, and in some homes, they peer into our living rooms. They hear the conversations we're having with friends and family. They control locks and other security systems in our homes, extending the reach of all this encrypted data to the sidewalk and living rooms of neighbors required a level of confidence that's not warranted, a technology that's never seen widespread testing. Right? So basically, you're playing with false security, right? The technology that this uses is able to be manipulated, right? And ultimately, these Edomites, right? All these systems that are set up, there's always going to be a back door, right? If you create any sort of technology in the United States, and for the most part, any government, you provide that government a back door. Okay, there's been many. If you want a real wake-up call, watch that movie, that Eric Snowden movie that came out, and it'll tell you the scary truth of how open devices are to being hacked, and just what levels the government goes through to be able to retrieve your data if they want to. Continuing, there is no doubt the benefits of sidewalks for some, but users will be guinea pigs. To protect the network security for your home network and even your family, you may want to opt out of the program before next week. Amazon Sidewalk opt-out is the first on this web search query, right? Google search trends show rising search trends for people trying to figure out how to disable Sidewalk. For all you Akim that have any Alexas, or Rings, it is what it is. If you got these, just be careful, Akim, and opt out of these systems, because ultimately what these devils are trying to do is connect everybody together, right? And when they connect everybody together, not only will they be able to see your, not only is your data going to be vulnerable, but also they're going to be able to connect everything and see everything, right? Because this is the future, which has been described as the Internet of Things, where your devices will be all connected to the internet, and that's going to report to some, grand database, which ultimately can be used to identify if you're home, what you're using, and then eventually down the road, it's going to be a system of control, which these devils want to have, right? If you want to learn how to opt out of this, like I said, just go online, type in Amazon Sidewalk opt out. You'll find tons of tutorials like this Verge guide that kind of walks you through some of it. Tells you how to get out of it using the Alexa app. Tells you how to get out of it using the Ring, and that's pretty much it, right? You even have the Amazon's own site along with its Ring site that walks you through the process. So if you have these devices, make sure by the 8th that you're turned off. Just be mindful of what you have in your house, right? If you have it, make sure to lock it down. Don't have it connected to your personal account, and and then you'll be good, right? Now, that being said, let's read this. This is 1 Corinthians 7:31. And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away, right? And you see, ultimately, it's okay to use technologies like this, right? So I know the elders and the apostles made a decree years back not to be on Facebook anymore. So a lot of us closed our Facebook accounts. I myself don't have it anymore, right? I just use Instagram, and the only thing I post on Instagram is pretty much just informational truth about the Bible, stories like that, right? Now, that being said, like the scripture says, man, it's okay for us to use devices like this, but we're not to be involved in it, man. We shouldn't be posting up our personal lives or letting these devices into the private parts of our lives where they can actually cause harm by sharing more information that we should be sharing out in the world. Okay, now yes, they're useful, but remember, right, Esau's system, everything that he provides as a benefit, there's gonna be an opposite effect to it, man, right? It's a double-edged sword, right? Yes, you can use it for your benefit, but don't tie it to your phone. Don't tie it to your personal email address, right? When you use these devices, don't connect them to the internet, right? Just use them on a local internet, mesh network you have for yourself. If you know what that means, right? Do that if possible, right? But like I said again, the best thing to do is if you're using these devices, just take heed and watch out and make sure that you're not taken advantage of, right? Because ultimately, all this is going to lead to the tracking and ultimately mass microchipping of the population, which we here at Great Millstone understand that the soon to come RFID implantable microchips that they are going to push on society to either have in your hands as an implant or in your forehead is going to be the mark of the beast, right? And that ultimately is going to be tied into these tracking systems that are set up around the world using the 5G system, right? It's going to be tied to the economic new money system with the universal basic income, the UBI, right? And it's ultimately going to be linked to your jab status, right? So we're not ignorant of what's going on, right? So, but that being said, we just have to watch for this stuff and make sure that we're doing our due diligence to not be ran over by that steamroller that's trying to come at us. This is 2 Thessalonians 2:4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, right? And this ultimately is talking about the wicked that rule the world right now, right? The so-called Caucasian race, the Edomites, that the Bible prophesied would be ruling at the end time before the second coming of the Messiah, that would have the whole world in subjection through their mass weaponry, their sword, and that they would have everything turned upside down morally, right? And not only that, but that, like it tells you here, that they exalt themselves as if they are God, right? And what is one of those things that it is to be God? Well, it's to be omnipotent, right? To be everywhere at once, right? And again, I bring that movie up again, that Eric Snowden movie, because it shows you that these devils, what they'll do is they record everything, you talk on the phones, everything that they hear, everything is being recorded, right? This is why there's that famous photo of Mark Zuckerberg, the Facebook founder, that has tape over his microphone on his laptop and his camera covered, right? Because you see, all these things are being recorded, but the thing is that they don't actually use it. Like, they're not building a case against you right now. But let's say down the road, 5, 10 years from now, if we even were to get there, right? But let's say in the future sometime, they needed to go back and check to see what you were doing on April 3rd. Well, they could just go through their database, look at everything that they have on you. They could go to your email account, see what it's tied to. Oh, it's tied to an Alexa device. Well, let's hear what that Alexa device recorded that day, right? And there you go. They now have your devices or your information for that day. And that's how these devils work, right? They're trying to be as God, as omnipotent as God is, right? Being everywhere at once, right? This is why they're recording everything, why they're storing all those massive amounts of data, right? Because they ultimately are trying to be gods through their technology, but that ain't gonna work, right? Because the Lord, who is soon on his way, or he's already on his way, right? But he's gonna soon to arrive, will disappoint these devils' plans and ultimately take these current wicked rulers of the world out of power. And you're gonna not see bullshit like this happening anymore, where you're gonna have to worry about your privacy. You're gonna have to worry about having the rulers over you spying on you and shit, man, right? So I just wanted to give you Akim this this PSA and stuff like that. Let you know that if you have any Amazon devices, make sure to sign out or opt out of the Amazon Sidewalk system that will be initiated on June 8th. All right, Akim. So until next time, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakal, Kodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.